Elon Musk finds himself denied service at a cafe because of a hat he is wearing. Yet, when he returns the following day, his actions take everyone by surprise. What unfolds next challenges conventional notions of progress and prejudice, leaving an indelible mark on those who witnessed it. Nestled in the heart of San Francisco's tech-centric downtown, the Progressive Bean had earned its reputation as more than just a coffee shop. It was a hub of innovation and a bastion of forward-thinking ideals. Its walls, adorned with posters advocating sustainability and social justice, reflected the city's unique blend of entrepreneurial spirit and community activism. On an otherwise ordinary Wednesday, the cafe buzzed with its usual mix of tech workers, entrepreneurs, and students, the faint hum of keyboards and muffled conversations creating a familiar rhythm. But that day, the rhythm was abruptly broken by an unusual exchange at the counter. The air grew heavy with tension, and all eyes turned toward the tall man standing at the register. "I'm sorry, sir, but we reserve the right to refuse service to anyone," said Tara, the barista, her voice firm but polite. Her name tag glinted under the warm cafe lights, a small detail that felt almost ironic given the growing unease in the room. Tara had been a fixture at the Progressive Bean for 3 years, deeply invested in its mission of blending excellent coffee with progressive ideals. She took pride in the cafe's reputation as a space where everyone was welcome. Well, almost everyone. The man she addressed wore a plain black t-shirt, jeans, and a jacket. But it wasn't his outfit that drew attention. It was the simple black baseball cap perched on his head. Emblazoned across the front in bold, unmistakable lettering was the controversial slogan, "Make America Great Again." The cafe's patrons, most of whom prided themselves on their progressive values, couldn't help but notice the scene unfolding. Some discreetly pulled out their phones to record while others exchanged murmurs of disapproval or curiosity. Sunlight streamed through the large windows, casting sharp shadows that seemed to heighten the tension. The man, however, remained calm, his demeanor strikingly composed. His South African accent, soft and deliberate, carried a note of genuine curiosity rather than confrontation. "I don't understand," he said, drumming his fingers lightly on the counter. "I've been waiting here for 40 minutes. What about my hat is so problematic?" The question hung in the air, met with awkward silence from the surrounding crowd. The man's tone was inquisitive, almost as if he were conducting an experiment. Before Tara could respond, Lisa, the cafe's owner, emerged from the back room. With her arms crossed and her expression firm, she quickly assessed the situation. Lisa had poured 5 years of effort into the Progressive Bean, transforming it from a modest coffee shop into a beacon of forward-thinking ideals. She viewed her cafe as a sanctuary of inclusivity, innovation, and sustainability, a symbol of what San Francisco stood for. "Sir," Lisa began, her tone measured but unyielding, "we strive to maintain an atmosphere that aligns with our values. Your hat represents something that goes against the principles we uphold here. We would be happy to serve you if you remove it." The man glanced around the cafe, taking in its details. The prominently displayed "Everyone Welcome" sign, the eco-friendly certifications framed near the register, the AI-powered coffee machines that had been lauded in local tech publications. His gaze lingered on the infographic explaining the cafe's commitment to renewable energy. A faint smile played on his lips, not one of anger or mockery, but one of curiosity. It was the kind of smile that hinted at a deeper understanding, as if he had stumbled upon a puzzle worth solving. "Very well," he said simply, turning toward the door. As he stepped outside, the morning light caught the metallic threads in his hat, making the logo glimmer momentarily. He paused to glance back at the cafe's name, the Progressive Bean. The smile never left his face, but those who saw him might have noticed a spark in his eyes, a flash of inspiration that those who knew him would later recognize. For the man in the baseball cap was none other than Elon Musk, though he had hoped to keep a low profile that day. The hat, bearing the infamous MAGA slogan, had ignited a storm of tension and judgment. Musk's departure left a lingering unease in the cafe, and the fallout was immediate. Tara found herself fielding questions and criticisms from regular customers. Was that really necessary? One patron asked, their tone skeptical. Others, however, applauded her and Lisa's decision, seeing it as a stand for their principles. But the story was far from over. Musk's seemingly quiet exit was not the end of the narrative, it was the beginning. The following day, the cafe was thrown into chaos once again, but this time for an entirely different reason. A retired Stanford professor, a familiar face in the cafe, quietly closed his laptop. With a faint shake of his head, he packed his belongings and left, his exit underscoring the discomfort lingering in the air. In one corner, a group of young software developers, regulars at the cafe, launched into a spirited debate. Their discussion quickly turned to the complex interplay of technology and social justice, their voices rising above the usual hum of the cafe. Lisa, meanwhile, withdrew to her office in the back, her mind clouded with unease. The small space, decorated with awards and promotional materials highlighting the cafe's progressive mission, now felt suffocating. The words, inclusive and forward-thinking, once sources of pride, seemed to mock her. As she glanced at a framed photo of her teenage daughter, Jamie, whose fervor for social justice had always inspired her, Lisa found herself grappling with a painful question. Had she acted in alignment with the very values she claimed to uphold? Unbeknownst to Lisa, this seemingly isolated incident would spark conversations far beyond the walls of the Progressive Bean. The day's events would challenge deeply ingrained assumptions about progress, innovation, and the biases that persist even in spaces meant to embody equity. For Musk, that morning had begun with unusual stillness. Troubled by a restless night filled with thoughts of Mars colonization challenges, he had decided to step outside his routine. Instead of diving into his packed schedule, he opted to explore San Francisco on foot, leaving his phone behind to experience the city unfiltered. The city's steep streets reminded him of his childhood in Pretoria, while the morning fog, dense and cool, carried an aura of potential. Strolling through the financial district, Musk took in the striking contrasts that defined San Francisco. Towering skyscrapers beside tented encampments, automated delivery bots weaving between street artists crafting murals, and traditional fruit vendors competing with app-based grocery services. These scenes triggered a cascade of thoughts about the dual nature of technology, its ability to connect but also to divide. He had spent the morning visiting small businesses, hoping to understand the challenges local entrepreneurs faced in an economy shaped by rapid digital transformation. Dressed in plain clothes and his now controversial hat, Musk aimed to blend in. His Tesla, parked several blocks away, was left behind intentionally, allowing him to observe without the filter of his high-profile identity. The Progressive Bean had caught his attention for its innovative sustainability practices. The cafe's AI-driven coffee machines optimized waste management, its solar panels powered most of its operations, and its award-winning composting system set a benchmark for eco-friendly urban businesses. Even its app, created by a local startup, was praised for blending convenience with environmental consciousness. Musk admired the intentionality behind these efforts and had hoped to learn more firsthand. The cafe itself was a labor of love. Lisa, a former tech industry project manager, had founded it to create a space that balanced Silicon Valley's innovative spirit with San Francisco's social consciousness. Over 5 years, her vision had transformed the Progressive Bean into a hub celebrated for its commitment to equity and sustainability. From blockchain-based coffee sourcing to an acclaimed water recycling system, the cafe had become a model for progressive ideals. Yet, for all its achievements, the irony of the morning's confrontation was not lost on Musk. In a space dedicated to inclusion and innovation, he had faced an exclusion rooted in assumption. As he left the cafe, his thoughts weren't consumed by frustration but by curiosity, a curiosity that often marked the beginning of his most transformative ideas. Musk couldn't ignore the irony of the situation. A cafe that prided itself on being progressive had dismissed him purely based on what they believed his hat symbolized, without making any effort to understand the individual wearing it. The moment brought back memories of early struggles in his career, when revolutionary ideas like electric vehicles and reusable rockets had been dismissed outright by skeptics who failed to grasp their potential. Yet, what struck him most was how none of the cafe's supposedly tech-savvy patrons or staff had recognized him, despite being surrounded by the fruits of his innovations. Many of them likely had Tesla apps on their phones or followed SpaceX's launch schedules religiously, and yet they'd walked right past the man responsible without a flicker of recognition. Even Tara, who had an Anton Starman poster in the break room and spoke about him regularly on her favorite tech podcast, failed to realize she was denying service to its subject. The plain hat and understated outfit had achieved what even Musk's most advanced privacy measures couldn't, a fleeting moment of true anonymity. Unfortunately, that anonymity had been broken by prejudice tied to his MAGA hat. The incident lingered in his thoughts throughout the day. While sitting with his executive team at Tesla's headquarters, reviewing quarterly projections, he found himself sketching designs absent-mindedly. His chief of staff noticed the distant look in his eyes, a familiar sign that Musk's mind was working on something transformative. By evening, a new idea had taken shape, not as an act of revenge or a public statement, but as an initiative that could turn a moment of bias into a catalyst for meaningful innovation. The following morning, as the Progressive Bean staff prepared for their usual rush, an unexpected sight unfolded on the street outside. A fleet of Tesla vehicles, 5 sleek Model S sedans and 3 imposing Cybertrucks, parked in a precise formation. The striking display immediately drew the attention of pedestrians. Stepping out of the lead car, Musk wore the same MAGA hat as the previous day but was now accompanied by Tesla's chief sustainability officer and a team of engineers armed with tablets and instruments, scanning the cafe's exterior. Inside, the cafe's patrons and staff stood frozen as the crowd outside grew. Among the onlookers was Jamie Galloway, Lisa's teenage daughter, who had rushed over from her robotics club after receiving a frantic text from her mother. Jamie stood wide-eyed, clutching her science fair prototype for a solar panel, an invention she had been too shy to share with anyone. Watching the Tesla engineers meticulously survey the building stirred something in her. Their methods mirrored her own budding aspirations as an engineer, though their tools and expertise made her efforts feel small by comparison. Tara, the barista from the previous day, nearly dropped a mug when she realized who she had confronted. Lisa, the manager, hurried forward, already stumbling over apologies. She tried to explain that their actions weren't meant to discriminate, but to preserve the cafe's atmosphere. She added that had she known his identity, the situation would have been handled differently. Musk, however, raised a hand, silencing her attempts. "I'm not here for what you think," he began, his calm voice cutting through the tense silence. The cafe's patrons, some with phones already recording, sat motionless, their drinks forgotten. "I'm here to propose something that could teach us all a valuable lesson about progress," Musk continued. Over the next hour, he laid out his vision. He explained that despite their hasty judgment, he was impressed by the Progressive Beans' commitment to sustainability. Rather than publicly denounce their actions or seek retribution, he wanted to partner with the cafe as the pilot location for Tesla's latest sustainable energy system. The proposed project would fully eliminate their carbon footprint through advanced solar panels, cutting-edge battery storage, and an AI-powered energy management solution. "Yesterday, you turned me away because of assumptions about what my hat represented," Musk said, his gaze moving between Lisa, Tara, and the stunned patrons. Musk addressed the staff and the growing crowd outside the cafe with the same composed curiosity he'd shown the previous day. "This hat," he began, holding it up for emphasis, "stands for the aspiration of making America great again. But to achieve that responsibly, we must first ensure the health of our home planet." Turning his gaze to Lisa and her team, he continued, "Your dedication to sustainability is commendable. Let's transform this misunderstanding into an opportunity to advance together." Lisa, her voice trembling with emotion, accepted Musk's offer, but he wasn't done. In a surprising announcement, he revealed that SpaceX would collaborate with local schools and universities to create internships focused on sustainable technology. Using the Progressive Bean as a real-world example, the cafe would evolve into a hands-on learning hub where students could witness how cutting-edge technology could revolutionize small businesses. "The best way to counter prejudice isn't with more prejudice," Musk declared, as reporters and news crews began to arrive. "It's through education and innovation. Let's demonstrate how understanding and technology can unite us." Obstacles, when reframed, often become the seeds of our greatest opportunities. The story quickly gained traction, but not as a narrative of confrontation. Instead, it became an inspiring account of turning assumptions into a platform for growth. Social media buzzed with conversations about the synergy between technological innovation and social progress. Suddenly, the Progressive Bean wasn't just a coffee shop. It was a beacon of transformation, illustrating how open-mindedness and creativity could turn a moment of discrimination into a landmark for positive change. In the months that followed, the cafe's Tesla energy system not only eliminated its carbon footprint but also reduced operational expenses by a staggering 70%. It became a hotspot for students, researchers, and entrepreneurs eager to learn about sustainable practices. A small plaque near the entrance commemorated the original incident, bearing the words, "Where assumptions ended, progress began." Local schools began organizing field trips to explore the cafe's innovative energy systems, and university students used its data as a foundation for research projects on green business strategies. Even the cafe's ambiance shifted. Where generic social justice posters once hung, the walls now displayed a carefully curated blend of imagery showcasing space exploration and groundbreaking environmental technologies. The baristas, Tara included, were soon trained not only in the art of crafting coffee but also in articulating the intricacies of the cafe's advanced technological systems to curious patrons. Reflecting in a local newspaper interview, Lisa shared her insights. "We realized that genuine progressiveness isn't about making snap judgments based on appearances or preconceived notions. It's about being receptive to new perspectives and having the courage to admit when we're wrong. Our greatest lessons often come from our most significant missteps. Today, when I look around our cafe, I see a space where people come together to build something greater than what existed before." The cafe's transformation extended beyond technology. The staff underwent extensive training, not just in operating advanced systems but also in fostering cultural awareness and sensitivity. Lisa introduced a new hiring policy that emphasized intellectual diversity as much as other forms of inclusion. In its new chapter, the Progressive Bean began hosting monthly community forums, providing a respectful space for individuals to discuss controversial issues. The cafe's clientele expanded, drawing people from diverse backgrounds who came not only for its renowned coffee but also for meaningful dialogue and connection. As for Elon Musk, no one knows if he's returned to the cafe since the initial incident. Perhaps one day, he'll quietly step inside again, wearing his trademark black attire, to see if the Progressive Bean lives up to its name, not just as a label but as a reflection of its true character. Have you ever witnessed a moment where misunderstanding or prejudice was turned into something transformative? If you were in Lisa's shoes when Elon Musk came back, how would you have responded? Would you seize the chance to embrace change, or let the weight of embarrassment hold you back? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below, and thank you for being part of this inspiring tale of growth, innovation, and redemption.